Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome into your daily read for Wednesday. I hope you're doing well out there. But it's meant to be a day full of persistence and a ton of focus. Because I feel like this collective has a lot to get done. You're wanting to maybe get ahead of the game or see the ball rolling for yourself. And okay, you're in the midst of what feels to be helpful energy as well. And I do see this being a very spiritual day, all right? And so the focus card as well, communicating that Spirit's going to realign your focus at certain random points in order for you to look at this and that of importance. You know, it could be a color, a shape, something in Mother Nature. It could be a feeling of importance. And maybe at certain points, honestly, the realigning of your focus is purposeful to take you away from what you were maybe too invested in the moment. You know, you maybe were focusing on the wrong thing. You get the point. And so Spirit's going to be helping you in many ways throughout this day, right? Coming through very clearly, and that focusing at certain points will be part of which. But I do see this being a day where Spirit's saying you're in this I will not give up kind of energy. And so you're feeling ultra determined in just saying, I'm not going to let, myself give up easily, even if you maybe feel you're about to or you once have naturally, It's almost as if, say, for example, I'm doing these readings and, a spirit, if not multiple, wants to come through and try to make things difficult for me, makes me start the reading over a million times, And sometimes it does work to my advantage in the end when I have that final result. But it's kind of like that where Spirit is saying, even if it's not specifically your spirituality coming through to make things a little bit more difficult, again, you're very persistent in whatever's starting to or trying to get in your way, or maybe it's an obstacle or two, you're going to easily overcome it, right? You're going to try again and make sure that you get the job done, okay? But it obviously doesn't have to be work related, but there's something about that for you. Now, I'm getting also somewhat of a detached kind of disconnected energy about you, where it honestly feels beneficial, all right? Because maybe you are detached to the point of manifesting easily because you're not adding that heaviness, like I always say, you're not forcing it, if you will. But it also feels like there's maybe one, if not multiple, aspects of your current day reality feeling to be maybe within one commitment, one situation where it's not going to benefit you to be attached to, the outcome or attached to those aspects. Anyways, movement, look at this. Because again, it feels like a day where you are getting a lot done and you're determined, like we've been saying, but there's movement in regards to whatever you've been putting your efforts towards. All right. And so if you haven't already, do hop on back to the last daily read for Tuesday, which talked all about hard work turning into victory. So it's a bit of a continuation, even maybe new energy in regards to that throughout this day. And so don't be surprised when you feel the successful energy growing within you and outside of you as this Wednesday trickles on forward. The day involves growth is now what I'm hearing. The day involves progression. The day also involves you thinking about the seeds that you've planted. In some of which it's like a seed that you planted a long, long time ago, feeling very specifically for somebody 5 to 10 years ago, that is now starting to blossom before your very eyes, all right? Don't worry about the details. Just do what you got to do in regards to that. Even find, like we've been saying in the last daily read, your hard work from the past paying off, as it is a day where Spirit's saying you've been planting the right seeds, all right? You've been doing what you have been meant to. You've been walking a very purposeful path, and even more so now, all right? But to continue for my beautiful souls for Wednesday, I feel very, focused, it's like you're detached from this and that within your life while being ultra focused on this. You know what I mean? I know where my focus lies and why that is, and you can't adjust that, right? Unless it's a spirit, helping you once again. But look at this. I feel a very methodical, very, well thought out is what I just heard. Very strategic kind of energy about you. I'm hearing the word approach, but I feel as well, there's some spacey moments, And I feel even that is going to benefit you greatly. You may, at a certain point, feel a bit spacey when you're needing to detach a bit more, or in general, or maybe in a different way. But we're moving on to the Three of Cups and the Two of Pentacles. So Spirit is saying you're going through a balancing act and you're feeling very decisive. And it's just this feeling of you being very trusting in regards to your intuition and maybe even spirit at certain points. And so when you're in the midst of this balancing act, when you're being very decisive, again, very, very determined, even in the midst of certain little slip-ups, you find yourself with reasons to celebrate. You find others trusting you as well. You may even find that the trust growing within other people for your individual intuition and maybe even your spirituality, like myself, really starts to take a highlight in a big way. But the number 3 is very significant for you, and if we add these up, we get the number 5. Things are continuing to change, my friend. And if you find yourself in the midst of what feels to be certain imperfections, because nothing's perfect in this life, you're needing to remember that things are temporary, right? That annoyance or that bad energy or that imperfection otherwise. But even, if we were to take a step back, the situation, the commitment, if you will, that involves whatever we were just speaking upon for you in a negative sense, that situation's temporary. You know what I mean? Even if it's, say, something like a house that's meant to be with you and be passed down to different generations after the fact, it just feels like Spirit saying even that holds different chapters, okay? So the chapter you're in now that holds maybe, again, those imperfections, that's temporary. So just keep that in mind. Everything comes and it goes. And so I feel the need to now show the flow card, because it really is a day where they're saying there's an immense amount of flow that you're not only utilizing and implementing, but already is existing within your physical reality, all right? And Spirit is playing into this quite nicely. And so you're wanting to embody this flowing, non-forcing kind of energy while still being ultra determined and persistent. Does that make sense? Because it's easy to take that persistence and that drive and have that transition into a state of forcing it. You know what I mean? And so when you find yourself starting to cross over that thin line, just hop on back. You know what I mean? And embody, embrace, and even create that ultimate flow. But they're also saying, some of which need a reminder that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. All right, there's a light at the end of the tunnel in regards to what you're dealing with. I also want to remind you that you're such a spiritually connected soul. You're such a important soul that things are just going to simply work out for you. And I'm going to say it very clearly, as Spirit just said. I don't care what took place in your past. I do care if you know what I mean, but this isn't relevant in regards to how things are meant to proceed in your current day reality. All right, utilize it to your advantage, of course, right? You live and you learn. But I do feel as if Spirit is saying, just watch things improve. Watch certain difficulties start to be, I'm hearing misplaced, but I'm getting removed once again from your day-to-day life. I also want to remind you that you're making the right choices. I'm getting that message as well. Look at that. No shocker that the High Priestess wants to come out, because again, it's a very spiritual Wednesday. And again, a very intuitive day all the meanwhile. And some of you are getting a lot of downloads through your thoughts and maybe even a dream or two. But I do want to say they maybe want some of you to close your eyes and take a nap if you have the allotted time and space, because it may not be the dream state that you're about to enter potentially, but more so the healing that stems from you. I'm hearing revival that stems from that sleep state. Anyways, but the Ace of Pentacles as well, because I wouldn't be surprised if there's new opportunity throughout this day being created, maybe gifted to you, but new money all the meanwhile. And I'm hearing, okay, for some, a gift from God, a gift from Spirit, from Source, however you want to view it, perceive it, and receive it. But I want to say as well the color blue, because you're meant to be experiencing tranquility, peace, and I'm now getting the color aqua. But there's a sense of the clouds clearing And I wouldn't be surprised if you're also thinking about slow progression, slow release, and slow loss, okay, from the past maybe. But it does feel like you are needing to slowly, at certain points, release what isn't yours to carry, okay? Whether it's cleansing your energy, you name it. But moving on to, the Ten of Wands, because I feel like you have a lot on your plate. And I feel at least the majority of which you asked for or maybe even created, reached for in one way, shape, or form. So just remember that, okay? But it's not to say that sometimes it's like the heaviness or all that's on your plate. It's not that you can't handle it, but you shouldn't have to. Does that make sense? Just feeling the need for that message to come out as well. But this more so talking about all that you are watering, accomplishing, completing, and getting off your plate. But Spirit is saying that, again, this is a day full of an immense amount of different kinds of focus, persistence, and driven energy. All right? That's what I got for you for Wednesday. I hope these messages were truly helpful as always. Love and light, my beautiful souls. Take care.